Hello everyone, I'm Sean, React to the K's channel arranger and host of Classical Composer Breaks Down the K.
Hi guys, my name is Umu and I'm React to the K's channel creator.
Hopefully you've already seen our reaction to SuperM's 100, which was really good.
Alright, Tiger Inside, let's go! A track by the producers Moonshine and top line by Alexander Carlson. I'm very excited. Quite a few people tweeted me about this, so the hype is real. Let's go.
Horong E, Tiger Inside, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, 10. Oh!
Ooh, nice.
It's literally been like 10 seconds and so much has happened already. What mode are we in?
Nice metallic sounds.
Okay, we're...
Hell, they're really leaning on that,
I do not know where we are harmonically.
I think, well, here it's a sharp 4, but sometimes I think it's been a flat 5, but that tritone away from the tonic.
Da 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 da. That's a hard lead, man.
Is it vroom vroom like a fast car? Major third, okay.
Oh! Oh, dude, the chromaticism helps kind of feel like you're sneaking in this section. Also, the harmonies were insane. Da-da-da-da. There's like a little octave answer to the main vocal line.
Yeah, the very NCT shouted section. Or just like, having a shouted section is a very NCT thing, at least among boy groups. And another major third, minor sixth line.
Okay, more of a recognizable tonal center. That was a nice transition to Taemin. We gotta check that note later. Triplets.
And that one was an F.
Jeez, they really milk and bake him for his talents.
Oh, interesting. So now, this post-chorus wasn't on the first chorus, was it?
And then we end in major. Okay. Alright. Okay! I totally know what just happened! Wait. 323, 3, 2, 1. What is that sound? That sound in the track. 319, 3, 2, 1. Kind of sounds like... Yeah! Jesus. It sounds like either crinkling of like a can, like going like to a can, or like maybe people taking plastic forks and going... That was interesting.
Yeah, we're just gonna do the thing where I go back in and talk over a second listen.
I think this is tonic, so that's our home key. Let's see how notes develop from... Let's see how the notes change from that. That's the tonal center we ended in.
3, 2, 1.
Can we start an F? Da, 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 da. Flat 5 or sharp 4. So that was a tritone. Wow.
I just noticed that the vocal fry, and then something doing a in the instrumental. That was a nice connection.
And then this is when we go to major. Na. Instead of we go 3, 2, 1. Which lines up with the lyrics "I won't bite you," because it's like we're in a major key. We're nice. That's really crunchy. And then this. Oh, the upper harmony, which just keeps ascending, ascending, ascending.
It also kind of ties back to that bit of the second verse where there was a major third, so now it's coming back, but they're keeping the minor sixth over it, keeps it from getting sort of just too bright and losing its intensity.
Wow. Love the little toot toot. Sounds like string pizzicato with a lot of reverb. Sounds like a clock ticking almost.
Oh yeah, it's another multi-section bridge. I didn't even talk about that, but yes, it's another classic SM bridge in a bunch of sections. Also, nice choice, like... It sort of hits the chorus again with the bass, but most of the parts aren't there. So it sort of builds the suspense. Also brought out by that prominent tritone that just kind of keeps it a bit unstable and on edge. And yeah, just like having that tritone was a really nice way. It's like a lot of the sections contained that, so it really tied the whole song together by that recurring so much.
Okay, let's go back and check the high notes, of course. See if Sean's wish of Baekhyun just continuing to ascend in range for each comeback.
Previously on...
I liked, I'm pretty sure, unless my sense of pitch glitched out, I think he went up to a G this time.
Yes, half step up.
Now I'm hoping that can just become a thing where like every SuperM MV he goes a little bit higher.
Oh, yep, he went up. A flat this time. Jeez Louise, man. So, your theory...
Yes, he did go one semitone higher, very briefly. So, yeah, now at this point, I do assume the title track for this he has to hit an A natural on.
How much money are we going to bet?
Not
5
much.
5 cents.
5 cents?
5 cents, let's do 5
okay,
cents.
Yes. Wait, who's betting on which side? Because, like, I'm betting in favor of that happening. Are you betting against him singing an A natural?
No, I'm also in favor.
Okay, it's kind of hard to do a bet.
Trade 5 cents.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if this was going to be out of that sequence since they technically did this on their Beyond Live. I thought, like, maybe... Like, while that wasn't publicly available, I thought maybe this was technically counted as sort of before 100 and wasn't going to be.
Good question.
But it turns out that seems like we're planning this ascent to happen. Because, yeah, at this, I assume he has to do an A next time.
Really curious about that. But holy tritone.
Yeah!
Holy moly freaky lowly tritone.
Yeah. I really liked how they just kept doing that through the whole song in various ways. Like, it wasn't the same pattern the whole time, but just like... Just like it tied the song together and also just like kept it a little bit on edge the whole time because of the tension in that. I think when they sang it, it was more often acting as a B, and when it was in the instrumental, it was more often a C flat. I don't like. I hear it as a sort of, I mean, like a chromatic tone that's neighboring more than modal. Like if it's modal, then you would have to say it's either in Locrian or in Lydian, and I don't think you could sort of defend Locrian at some parts. I don't think you can defend. I don't think it's ever actually Lydian, even if they're doing da.
Yeah, I just see it as switching between F major, F minor, and then the F minor has a frick ton of chromaticism. Even though the F major though has chromaticism at some points.
Yeah, like there's that which is that major third flat 6.
Yo, this song, like the first listen through, I didn't quite recognize the tritone at first. So I thought we went into like so many different modal lands. I'm like, I literally have no idea where we are. And then I whipped out my app and I was like, oh, that makes so much sense.
It was really well composed. Also, of course, Moonshine did a great job producing it. Like, I love the sort of metallic sounds in the verses that are sort of clinking around them. And
then also the texture, they just seem to keep, what's it called, upgrading, like, everything, if that makes any sense. Because I think back when we were talking about Raiden, it was just so many sections were like, okay, we have this pre-chorus going this certain way and the bridge going a certain way, and it's so recognizably as an entertainment sound. But this is like, okay, yeah, we have like, you know, the softer this and softer that, but like just the amount of new textures that they throw in and how they approach those sections a different way every single time.
Yeah, like it's a very SM song, but it's also not like they're not just iterating on the same song. Like, there are a bunch of SM songs we could draw some connection to, but it doesn't just feel like Jopping 2 or an NCT song 2 or an EXO song 2 or something. Like, it's very much its own thing, and they're developing new ideas.
Mm-hmm. And Alexander did an absolutely fantastic job. He was the top liner. This is awesome. I'm going to go back and re-listen. Like, I enjoyed 100 because of I was able to pick out aspects of like, oh yeah, this reminds me of SM Entertainment's iconic sound. But this I like. It's a whole step up. I like a lot better.
Okay. I don't know which one I like better yet. Yeah, they're both super good. And I feel like it's a good...
Supercar?
Yeah. And we go vroom, like a fast car. Yeah, it's a good way of sort of building up. Like, I feel like 100 was the more, like, a little harder hitting. Like, not saying better, just, like, a little bit more in your face. And, yes, as you were miming, punchier. And so, like, it was a good one to sort of start the ramp up, like, start the hyping process for the album. And now this one's just a little, like, a nice contrast. It's still really, powerful, but it's not quite so big all the time, and it's also a little more unstable and questioning with all the tritones, and then we'll eventually hit the title track, which I assume can be a really big arrival.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm really curious what everyone else's opinions are of this track and maybe any predictions they may have for the official comeback. And we'll see you all later.
Yep.
Bye!
Thank you. Bye.
3:28 a.m.
Hi guys, so in our interview with Moonshine, during our Red Velvet, Irene and Sulky Naughty reaction, we talked about Moonshine's producer tag. And Sean and I went on a hunt to find their producer tag and their other releases, and both Sean and I forgot to, during our first and second listens, to listen for the producer tag, so...
There it is.